Welcome to Heart Magic Wisdom. Today's video is about making decisions and about making good decisions. And I want to give some examples from my life. And I am an artist, I'm a musician and a composer. And I learned a lot about making decisions in this process. But it's obviously applicable to everyday life and all sorts of situations. How do you make important decisions? Like you have multiple job offers and now which job do you pick? Or do you marry someone or don't you marry them? And here it's one large decision with a big impact. But as an artist, you make 1,000 really small decisions in a day. So let's say you're writing a song, recording a song, then you need to make the decisions. Do the drums come in here now or do they come in later? Is the volume right? Should the drums be louder? Should the guitar be louder? What comes after this section? Do I like this word in the lyrics or does it feel a little bit wrong? And it's just decision after decision. And you learn a lot about decisions in this process because it's really clear that you have to have some sort of system. You have to make so many decisions. It's obvious that you can't really make logical decisions. First of all, because you don't have the data, and also because there is no really logical better or worse. It's just about what you feel is better. And so here it's obvious that the decisions have to do a lot with the feeling, with the preference. And then I start thinking, how am I making all the other decisions in my life? And we have this idea that we are logical beings and we, for example, make pro and con lists and think about if I did it, then what would be good about it? And if I did the other thing, then what would be good about it? And then we think, oh yes, this is now a logical decision. But it's really strange because it's, even if you put something in the positive category, like an argument for something, then it's still, you feel like this is now a good argument for it. So the thing that we're doing already is a bit weird because we don't immediately decide with our emotions. It's not just like, I just felt like it. If you ask somebody, why did you do it? They usually give like a logical explanation. They say like, it's better for my career, or it's better for my health, or the pros outweigh the cons, things like this. And usually the conversation doesn't just end at, I felt like doing it. It's not like you have a conversation, hey, why did you do this? I wanted to. Oh, cool. And also interesting is that we feel about things differently at different stages. So you can feel good about a decision now, and then 2 days later you can regret it or feel bad about the decision. So now what to do now? Do you now trust the emotion in the moment, or do you like second guess your emotion? Do you think, I have been wrong before. I made a decision with my intuition, and then 2 days later I regretted it, so now I can't trust my intuition. It's tricky because you can't do that either, because what are you going to do? Not make the decision that you think is right in the moment? Do you make the decision that you think is wrong in the moment? You can't do that either, but then 2 days later you feel like you made the wrong decision. And for me, when I make music, for example, it is clear that I just always have to follow what I feel is the right decision. Even if 2 days later I feel like I don't like the song anymore, for example. I work on a song for several days and then I export the song every now and again as a MP3 file, for example, and then it can happen that I work on it for 3 days and I like the result, but the song is not finished, and then I work another day on it, and then I go outside, I go hang out at the park, and I listen to the different versions, and I like the version of the third day better than the version of the fourth day. So now I have to go back to the third version and go from there. And it's so crazy because you're experiencing yourself and these emotions, and you have no choice but to go with them. You had to make the choices that felt right on the fourth day, but then when you listen back to it, it's now not the direction that you want, and you go back to the version of the third day. It's so crazy. And the conclusion that I draw from it is you just have to follow the emotion either way, because you can't not follow the emotion. You can't not follow your preference. So that would mean you could either not do anything at all, and then you don't learn, and then just 2 weeks go by and you made no decision. That's not better either. Like, for example, when you work on a song, now you just laid the song to rest for 2 weeks, and now you have the same problem again. Now you have to make decisions again. So which decisions do you make? Well, you make the decisions that feel correct to you in the moment, based on your emotion, based on your preference, and the preference is based on the emotion. So yeah, and then what I do is I incorporate some systems into it. Like, for example, as I said, I export different versions of the song and then I compare them later. And also with my thoughts, I write them down a lot and then I read them later. And some thoughts, I wrote down 2 years ago on like a document in my Google Docs folder, and I still resonate with them and they are still true today. And some things you write down and a week later you read it again and you have to delete it again, or you have to modify it because it's not true anymore, or you feel differently about it. And so to me, it feels like a process where some of the things stick and some of the things don't stick. And in the moment, you just go with the flow. You try to make the best of it. You follow the good emotion. You follow your preference. And then hopefully you don't do something too bad or irreversible. And then some things fall away again. And some things you notice, well, they really fit with me. I really resonate with this, and it's been like a long time. 2 years ago, I thought like this, and now I still think like this. Or when you make a song, it's like, well, I made the song last week, I finished it, and now I'm listening to it again, and I still like it, so now I think I got something. So, in summary, I think my conclusion is basically the only thing you can do is follow the emotion, and you have to notice that the emotion is very unstable at times. Sometimes you feel differently about something within the span of a few hours or days, and sometimes it's more steady, and you have to pay attention to when it's more steady and when it's more unsteady. So you bring all the elements together. You take the awareness to look at the emotion, and then you also use the memory to compare, to cross-reference your emotion about the same things at different points in your day or a few days apart, and you notice again how you feel about it. Because the things that we can do are really limited. You can only make one decision at a time. So let's say you listen back to a song and you feel like, yeah, maybe I think the guitar part needs to be louder. then now all you can do is either make the guitar part louder or not do it. And so this is the element of focus now. And now you make a decision and then you move on, and then something else will pop out at you, and then you have to make a decision there. I hope this wasn't too much about music. If you're not an artist, if you're not a musician, maybe that's not so relatable to you, but it's just, this is a big learning field for me, because here you just have to make so many decisions all the time, and you learn so much about making decisions. So it was a great influence in my life. And I also still enjoy the process of making music and of composing. So I can recommend it to everyone. Being a musician, being an artist is great. All right. I hope this was helpful. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.